We talk about how to be more consistent in moving products because all the money comes from products, all the volume comes from products. If you know that you want to go director, you want to go rising star, you want to go executive, you want to do these things, all of it requires products being moved. All of it requires products being moved. And so you want to say to yourself, today's Sunday, how is your product moving game going? Shout out to the DMV team. I saw they had a phenomenal event today. Events is a great way to move product. Events is a great way to move product. Someone on my team that's in the DMV, she went to the event today, but she also had a tea party yesterday. She rented out a room in the public library. She invited her customers, and she was able to make some sales. And so we have to make a decision that we're going to take massive action. She could have easily just waited to invite people to the event. And I told her, no, go ahead and do your party. And then whoever's not able to come to the party, invite them to come the next day to the event. And so you don't be afraid to have your own events. Don't be afraid to host your own events. Maybe you have a customer that's a regular customer that loves the product. Maybe you communicate with them and say, hey, how would you feel hosting a tea party for me? Inviting your network, we'll share with them the products. I'll give you a week supply. I'll give you a bag of tea for free for hosting the event. Leverage your network, leverage the people around you to help. Rhonda says she's doing an event next month. Exactly. Today that was the DMV event. The new date for DMV for March is already listed. We got to book a meeting from a meeting, book a meeting from a meeting. What that means is when you have an event, you should already know when's the next one going to be. We'll be in Atlanta on Sunday, the 23rd. All of those events are great ways to give people an experience. I want you to type in the chat experience, because what moves the needle is when people have an experience. That's why sampling is important. That's why events are important. So you have to say to yourself, how am I going to book my schedule so that I'm giving experiences? Whether I'm going to the gym, before long, the weather's going to break. It's going to start being warm outside. Then there's going to be, workouts you can do. You can do walks at the park. You want to work on how many times can you give an experience? How many people are you going to be able to give an experience? Guys, this is a numbers game. And in order for us to run the numbers, we have to keep moving forward. We're in the middle of the 15-day challenge. That's a great experience. When you show and leverage the challenge on social media and you show that you're working out and that you're using your products and you're making better food choices and you're feeling good, guess what? Whether you realize it or not, virtually, you're giving people your experience. So you're still sharing an experience. So you want to make a decision and say, I'm going to figure out how many ways I can give experiences on a regular basis, whether it's virtual experiences, whether it's in-person experiences, whether I'm going to events to meet new people and I'm sampling products at those events. I know when I got started and I was still selling fragrance at Macy's, I would go to networking events. But when I went to events, I wouldn't tell people about my job. I would tell people about my business. I knew I could tell people I sold fragrance at Macy's, but in order for that to work, they would have to come to Macy's and they'd have to buy the fragrance from me and they'd have to come to the specific store that I worked at. But I love this business. I can tell people that I can sample somebody some NutriBurst and they don't have to go anywhere but on their phone and go on my website. So I made it a point that when I was going to events and I was making new connections, I was giving people, telling people about my business, sharing my experience, and offering samples. And so I want you guys to make a goal and say, in the next 30 days, today's the 16th. By March 16th, I want each of you to have at least 2 to 4 experiences, whether they're in-person experiences, whether you're going to do a pop-up shop. I know Valentine's Day just ended. Well, next is going to be Easter. Yeah, Easter's next. There's always going to be something coming up where there's always going to be events going on. And the fortune is in the follow-up. When you go to these events, when you meet these people, when you offer these samples, when you give these experiences, you want to make sure that you're following up. Make sure that you're reaching out. Make sure that you're finding out what the person liked about their experience. Another experience that you can offer people is getting people on the 8 o'clock calls. Excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. 8 o'clock calls. On TLC Freedom's Instagram, we do opportunity calls Monday through Friday. When you invite people to get on those calls, guess what? That's giving them an experience. That's giving them someone else's experience that has had success with the products and with the business. Shout out to one of my girls. I don't know if she's on here, Denise. Denise is a loctician. Guess what Denise does? When she's in her, when clients come in her suite, she has her products set up. When they ask questions about products, she goes on TLC Freedom and she plays my opportunity call. The person is already in the chair. They can't go anywhere. And so she's giving them an experience, and she's been able to move products doing that. And so it's being creative and saying, I got to fit, how many experiences am I going to give? Because I want to move the needle. If I know I want to get my top earner ring, if I know that I want to go director, if I know that I want to continue to grow and evolve my business, I have to keep giving experiences. I have to keep giving experiences. So just in me talking about that, what is it that you think, and you can type it in the chat, what type of experience are you going to give someone in the next week? Be specific. What type of experience are you going to offer in the next week? Maybe you give yourself a goal and say, this week I'm going to sample 5 people a day. Like what is your goal going to be in this week for experience? Today's Sunday, our pay week ends Thursday. What are you going to do between now and Thursday to give an experience? I'm going to look in the comments. I want to see, what are you going to do between now and Thursday to give people an experience? Sample, okay. And if you know that you have inventory, we've had such amazing product deals going on. Share my experience with the Sweet Sips kit and the other kit that we had the week before. There's been so many great sets of products that have been available. So now you should have some inventory. Okay, Brenda said she's sampling at least 10 people a day. Jeffrey said sampling at the gym in the evenings. And so again, remember, when you do the sampling, you always want to get that person's contact information. You want to give them yours, but you want to make sure that you get theirs. Don't assume you're going to remember or they're going to remember to reach out to you. And remember, I always say this, if you feel a little iffy about, well, how do I ask for someone's contact information if I just met them? If you give them a sample, let them know, hey, I want to make sure that you are able to get the right experience. So let me get your information so I can share with you how to properly drink the tea, or how to properly take NRG, or how to properly take Delgado. I know it says it on the back, but a lot of people don't read, and you want to make sure that they have the experience they should have in that sample, because if it's a 2 or 3 day sample, there's not a big window for error. And so make that decision to say, hey, I'm going to make sure I get everybody's information. And when you get their information, create a system for yourself. Where are you going to write it down? Are you going to put notes in your phone? Where is going to be your system to follow up? If you gave somebody a 24-hour sample, you shouldn't be following up a week later. You should be following up within 24, whatever sample you offered. If somebody bought a week's supply, I would check on them halfway in to see how their experience has been thus far. We got all the teas back in stock now. So there's not any, we don't have any out of stock issues like we were having before. So now it's a free for all. There's no excuse. People now have access to all of our amazing flavors, the NRG, the NutriBurst. Like, this is the time to capitalize and maximize moving the needle in your business. I know we talked in the past about getting binary qualified. Getting binary qualified is amazing, but guess what? If nobody's moving products, you're not going to be able to really tap into earning binary commission, because again, binary commission comes from moving products. All commissions come from products. So when you're binary qualified, remember, when you sell a bottle of NutriBurst on your website, you're going to make your $20 commission, but you're also going to get points for that sale on your lesser leg that you'll get paid from. And so you should say, okay, now that I'm binary qualified, I got a fast start bonus when I enrolled that Life Changer. So that's a plus. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm moving products so I'm able to actually see that I'm earning that third way of pay. You want to see that you're earning the third way of pay. You don't want to be binary qualified, because if you're not moving product and your people are not moving products, there's no volume. And so in order for that to happen, you got to run the numbers. You got to run the numbers. I love what Brenda said about sampling 10 people a day. That's really the goal. That's really the goal. You should be communicating with no less than 10 people each day in your business. Now, of course, everybody's at different levels. And so if you're somebody that wants to focus on retail, then you should be working on, okay, I need to be sampling 5 people, 10 people. I need to be following up with people that I sampled in the past. I need to be meeting new people. Maybe retail is your thing, because when you focus on retail, there's a thing called retail to recruit, where now you're able to, when people have that experience, that's what pushes them to want to know more about the business opportunity. Because if they're using the products on a regular basis and people are noticing changes in them and they're noticing changes in themselves, now they can see why they're able to make some extra money. Exactly, Stephanie. Retail is money on hand. So all those great deals that were out, everyone should have products that they're sampling everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. And listen, sometimes where you sow your seed is not where you reap your harvest. So don't get discouraged if you feel like you've been sampling a lot and you haven't been getting a return. You don't know where that return is going to come. You might meet a stranger that you have one conversation with that buys a kit. That could be your harvest for the seeds that you sowed over there. So don't assume that, you don't pay so much attention to, well, I sampled this person and they didn't buy, because what we do is if we get discouraged, we stop running the numbers. But sampling is it's a part of the game. When I sold fragrance, I mean, we had fragrance bottles designated just to spray samples to give people an experience, not bottles that we sold, bottles that we had just for sampling. That was an investment the company made to say we want to get as many people experiencing this fragrance. So we're going to designate these 15 bottles of fragrance just for sampling, just for spraying cards and giving it to people every day at the mall. When you go to the mall and you go in the food court, you see the Chinese food place always is giving samples. Every person that takes a sample doesn't buy the food, but it's still a part of the process. So you don't want it. So don't feel like, you got to hold on to everything you have. I don't want to give it out, because what if no, if you're holding on to it anyway, if you have, like right now, if you have products on hand, I want you to put me in the comments. How many of you have products on hand right now? And I'm not talking about, when I say products on hand, I'm not talking about the products that you're going to be consuming for yourself, because that's separate. Your smart ship is for you. You need to be consistently using your products to keep having your own experience. So everybody that's saying that they have products on hand, give yourself a goal that you're going to be sampling 10 people a day. Sometimes it's not going to be a week's supply. Sometimes it is just going to be those 2 or 3 sachets of tea for free. Sometimes it is just going to be that pack of NRG with the 3 sample capsules in it for free. Sometimes it is just going to be those couple pouches of NutriBurst. That's an investment in your business. And because I want to definitely see you guys move the needle. I want to see you guys get increase in your business through your back office. So even if you're retailing on hand, make sure that you reinvest. If you sold somebody a bottle of NutriBurst and they gave you the money for it, go on your website as a customer, create an account for that person. You can put it in their name. So that way in the future, if maybe you're not available and they want the product, they'll already have an account created. Now you're getting your $20 commission. If you're binary qualified, you're also getting your points, and you're replenishing the product that you sold. So remember, when you're selling products on hand, part of that money needs to be reinvested to continue to have a flow of products. Because what you don't want is to get all these people on the products on hand, and then they reach out to you and you don't have any. People, you can try to drive people to your website, but some people may not want to spend that $100. And guess what? If you think about it, if somebody buys a 25x week supply of tea from you every single week, that's $100 in a month, even though it would be cheaper for them to buy the bag. But some people psychologically would rather spend $25 at a time. Don't discourage that. You want to get it in all ways that you can. So does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions about what I'm talking about? Anybody run into anything they don't know how to handle? Does anybody have any questions? If anybody has any questions, you can raise your Zoom hand. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? I'm looking through the list to see. And another thing too, if you're someone that has another business If you're someone that has another business, maybe you sell another thing, and maybe you sell services, maybe you sell products like Stephanie has her boutiques. I'm pretty sure that when people buy Stephanie's boutique items, she's going to include some samples. Everybody likes a free gift. I sell things on Poshmark. When I ship off my Poshmark items, I include samples in my Poshmark orders. And so you want to find ways to, how are you, if someone's already supporting you in one aspect, that means they trust you. That means they trust you to a certain degree. So anything else that you recommend, they're going to trust also. So you don't have to do, if you do one thing business wise, you don't have to make it separate. Just because you may be in a different industry, it doesn't have to be separate. Every single person that you come in contact with in this world, if you go to their home, there's someone wellness products that they're using. They're drinking someone's coffee. They're taking someone's vitamin. Even if they're not cleansing, they should be. They're taking something for energy, whether they're drinking a Celsius or whatever it is. Everyone needs to be healthy. Exactly. So you want to say, okay, I have another business, but I'm not going to separate the two, because all of my customers trust me. Let me show them one more thing that they should trust me with. This is the time, we all know how the world is moving today. This is the time that we can't leave any money on the table. We can't have no crumbs left. We got to hit all angles. All right. So it doesn't look like anybody has any questions. I want you to put, yes, email your current customers and offer them a sample. Your customers may not know that you have these products available. And I know I've talked to a few people on my team about this individually. You send out an email blast. I'm excited in 2025 to add a wellness aspect to my business. Put some before and afters in the email. Let people know you now offer this as well. Excuse me. It's free through Shopify. Yes. And so, guys, there's so many ways that you can move the needle. You just have to make the decision to do it and understand that it is a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You got to consistently run the numbers. And some days are going to be great. Some days are going to be lackluster. Some days are going to be okay. You got to continue to do the work. You got to continue to put out the effort. And when you invite people to get on the calls, excuse me, when you invite people to get on the calls, when they get off the call, you want to ask them, what did they like best about what they heard? And if you're connected to any of the leaders that are doing the calls, and you know that you invited people on those calls, send them a message. Hey, I have some people doing the calls. Do you mind giving me a shout out on your live? Or you might say, hey, coach, I know you're doing the call tonight. Can I be your special guest? Can I be your special guest so I can share my testimony? Because I want to start getting the word out more on different platforms about what I'm doing. So, guys, this was not going to be long and drawn out. If anybody has any questions, let me know. And then we're going to wrap it up, because it's time to take action. A lot of us, we know what to do. And sometimes we just need that reminder to keep going. Sometimes we just need that reminder to stick with it. Sometimes we need that reminder that it's still possible. And so I want you to make sure that you are locked in on whatever your goals are. When you see the events, whether you're going to be there or not, share and promote those events. Post the banners, send them to your network, send it in your email blast. You don't know who's connected to you that could be in those cities. That could be your potential customer or business partner. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, guys, we're going to end the call here. We'll be in the Telegram chat if anybody needs anything. Opportunity calls start on Monday. So you should already say to yourself tonight, who are the people that you're going to invite? I believe Green does the call tomorrow. How many people do you know can relate to Green's story? Invite them to get on the call. I do the call on Tuesday. How many people do you know can relate to my story? Start pairing people with the stories. So now every day you've got people that you're funneling in to learn about your business and about your products. All right. So I love you guys. Have an amazing, amazing rest of the night. Yes, Monica, I love it. Accountability partners is great. Accountability partners is great. It's always fun to have somebody to work with, even if you guys aren't connected to each other financially. Now you have someone to bounce ideas off of. Now you have someone to hold accountable. So, guys, that's it. Stay tuned. Again, check the chat and Telegram, check your emails so that you can be a part of the TLC Freedom 120 Club for the trainings moving forward. Have an amazing, amazing night, and we will see y'all next week. And make a decision, guys. You are going to move the needle. Make a decision. You are going to move the needle. All right. Good night, everybody.